Broadway makes you want to move your feet. Everybody's tapping into everything that's happening on Broadway Beats. Broadway Beats. Broadway Beats. Broadway Beats.
Hello, I'm Richard Ridge, and welcome to Broadway Beat, where we bring you the very best of what the New York theater scene has to offer. This week we take you to the opening night celebration for the new production of the Tony Award-winning Lynn Ahrens, Stephen Flaherty, and Terrence McNally musical Ragtime, which is back on Broadway at the Neil Simon Theater, directed and choreographed by Marsha Milgram Dodge. We'll also drop by the rehearsal room for City Center Encore's latest, which was the delightful 1930 George and Ira Gershwin musical Girl Crazy, directed by Tony Award winner Jerry Zaks. But let's start things off with a look at the Tom Eyen and Henry Krieger musical Dreamgirls, which is finishing up a run at Harlem's legendary Apollo Theater before hitting the road for an extended national tour, which will run through 2011. The production is directed and choreographed by Robert Longbottom. Dreamgirls tells the story of an up-and-coming 1960s girl group from Chicago and the triumphs and tribulations that come with fame and a career in the music industry.
Around and around, and around and around and around. Make your way to the top. I have no doubt that I could love you forever. The only trouble is I really don't have the time. I got one night only, that's all I have to say. One night only, let's not pretend we can. I've got one night only, come on, baby, come on. One night only, we only have till dawn. We only have till dawn. One night only, one night only. I am changing. Got my life together now. I am changing. Yes, I know how. I'm gonna start again. I'm gonna leave my past behind. Oh, change my life. I'll make a vow and nothing's gonna stop me now.
City Center Encores kicked off their new season with the delightful 1930 George and Ira Gershwin musical Girl Crazy, which was directed by Tony Award winner Jerry Zaks and featured choreography by Warren Carlyle. We dropped by the rehearsal room to meet the company and give you a sneak peek. Up next at Encores is Fanny, which will run from February 4th through the 7th.
Embrace me, my sweet embraceable you. Embrace me, you irreplaceable you. Just one look at you, my heart grew tipsy in me. You and you alone bring out the gypsy in me. I love all the many charms about you. Above all, I want my arms about you. Don't be a naughty baby. Come to Papa do. My sweet embraceable you.
Oh, it's just wonderful. It's a wonderful score, wonderful silliness in the book, very serious silliness, and primarily that. The score is spectacular. There are songs that people just won't believe they're hearing again, and I have a wonderful cast, fantastic actors who are giving over to the whole comic wavelength of the piece, and it will hopefully be a joy machine, you know.
Well, the music in Girl Crazy is really, that's where I live. That's what I do, and Gershwin is just, it's incredible. The music's incredible, and it just sings and it dances.
They're writing songs of love, but not for me. Lucky stars above, but not for me. With love to lead the way, I found more skies of gray than any Russian play could guarantee.
This happened, my agents have known forever that I dream of doing musicals. It's sort of all I've ever wanted to do. I moved to New York after college to do musicals and got sidetracked by a little project I like to call Ugly Betty. And this opportunity came up, and it actually worked with my schedule because we're still shooting. And the time commitment was one that I could actually manage. So then I auditioned and somehow ended up in it. I didn't think I would. I mean, I auditioned because auditioning is fun, but I didn't think I'd actually get the job, and I did.
I play Danny Churchill. He's kind of a happy-go-lucky, wealthy playboy from New York City who is sent to Arizona by his father, who decides that he's not doing too well in New York chasing all these girls. Maybe he ought to go out to Arizona and man the family ranch, Buzzard's Ranch. Maybe a little clean air and hard living will do him good. And of course, as soon as he arrives, he catches the eye of a beautiful Western girl and decides that rather than leaving the bright lights of Broadway behind, he'll kind of just turn the lights on out in Arizona and resume his Broadway lifestyle. Of course, what he doesn't plan on is falling in love with her for real. And a beautiful cat and mouse love story ensues.
So treat me rough, muss my hair. Don't you dare to handle me with care. I'm no innocent child, baby. Make me woolly and wild. Treat me rough, pinch my cheek. Ooh, kiss and hug and squeeze me till I'm weak. I've been pampered enough, baby. Keep on treating me rough.
Okay, honestly, in all sincerity, what attracted me to Girl Crazy was Jerry Zaks. Jerry asked me to do it, and you don't say no to him. And I love encores because ultimately it's guerrilla warfare. You just throw it on its feet, so there's not a lot of time to overthink anything. So everybody has to jump in together with the same intention in mind. And it's very spontaneous, and it's very from the hip, and I love that so much. And the combination of the environment with Jerry, and there's nobody better at Jerry Zaks when doing this kind of material, because Jerry's real Broadway. And I wanted to do it as well because it's nice to be reminded of what our craft really is.
Old man trouble, I don't mind him. You won't find him round my door. I got starlight, I got sweet dreams. I got my man who could ask for anything more. Who could ask for anything more? Who could ask for anything more?
the music is fantastic in Girl Crazy. It's classic, you know, American musical theater. It's a very traditional part. It's the part that Ethel Merman became a star from, and it's a strong and powerful and engaged era for female characters, you know, and her music is memorable and passionate and brassy and sassy and loud and proud. And those are things that I enjoy doing a lot.
The Tony Award-winning Lynn Ahrens, Stephen Flaherty, and Terrence McNally musical Ragtime is back on Broadway at the Neil Simon Theater. This new reimagined production is directed and choreographed by Marcia Milgram Dodge. We stopped by the show's opening night party to celebrate with the company led by Christiane Knoll, Robert Petkoff, and Bobby Stegart.
And I always go back to the source material. And then I know that when Terrence and Lynn and Steve worked on it, at some point they have to put the source material away. But for me, it's always good to go back and really read the novel. And I did that when I directed Once on This Island, too. And it's naughty and impudent and funny. And I wanted to get that into this production. I wanted a little more sex in there. And I think that we achieved that with our cast and with the idea that even though it's Victorian times, it's a turn of the 20th century, people are still making love and having their hearts broken and pursuing their dreams against ferocious obstacles. And I felt it in a sort of, I felt like we had to just do it real. And it may seem a little more contemporary, but I'm not doing a history lesson. I'm doing a passionate piece of theater and a beautiful, beautiful story, series of stories that have enormous needs. And so I just knew I had to tell the story, you know, in that kind of ferocity, that kind of emotional ferocity.
It took me a long time. It was not a piece of cake, but I revere the book so much. And I wrote Mr. Doctorow a note, and I said, "Dear Edgar, thanks to you, the well never went dry when I went for inspiration," because it's a slender novel, but it's very dense and very rich. And I always found inspiration in his words. And so it was a hard job, but truly a labor of love. I think so many musicals aren't based on such rich material. And after a while, you sort of, she's going to sing another song. Here, each song is really an event in characters' lives. Our biggest trick for me and Lynn and Stephen, Ahrens and Flaherty, my collaborators, were keeping all the balls in the air. So you say, who's that? Because sometimes characters vanish for almost half hour. So that was our challenge, and we worked happily and hard.
Well, we're old pals, you know, and we've remained very, very close friends since the first time we worked together. So getting back together in the room was interesting and really fun. We made some small edits throughout the show, and everyone was a discussion. Everyone was a negotiation, just like the old days. So it was great. It was great, and we're just so happy to stand up on that stage tonight and hold hands and celebrate.
It was strange because here in New York we've been rehearsing in the Ford Center, the Hilton, and that's where we did it originally in 1998. So that was a bit like Groundhog Day, kind of that deja vu thing. So, but I love this cast. I think the production is really special. It's really fresh. I think Marcia Milgram Dodge has brought a lot of new, fresh insights to it. So we've been in the trenches with Marcia. We've made some nips and tucks and some small changes. I've written some new underscore. So we were changing and working on things all the way through previews. So, you would have thought we would have finished it by now, but, we're still working away.
This is not the America he came here for! None of us did! None of us!
It was winter in New York as the snow began to fall, and the workmen's hall had not a seat to spare. When a young man ducked inside just to warm himself was all, the night that Goldman spoke at Union Square. Strike! Strike! She was speaking loud and fast through a haze of noise and heat, and the smell of sweat and anger in the air. The police were standing by, but the crowd was on its feet the night that Goldman spoke at Union Square.
I play younger brother. He starts as a very isolated young man and grows into a very aware, very passionate adult who finds something to believe in. And as a result, he goes to almost desperate measures to fight for it. So it's a huge transformation from one extreme to the other.
Did you go back to read the book at all, the original text?
Oh, I read the book several times. I went to New Rochelle. I visited the very street and house that this family lived in. I went to the Morgan Library to research that space. And the material, the source material is so rich that I had to use it. There was no other option.
Your mama would tell you, imagine you're fearless. Imagine you're fearless and soon you won't fear. When I am afraid, I imagine your mama. She skates just ahead. Can you see her? She's here. And we're gliding, gliding far away. Pirouettes, figure eights, silver skates just down the track. Glide with me, little one, glide with your daughter. We'll never look back.
Oh, well, Tata, he's a man filled with hope who comes to America to try to attain the American dream, which is something that so many people are still doing today. And he goes through a lot of trials and tribulations, which so many people are doing today, and yet he finally achieves it through a bit of luck and skill and talent and creativity. And I think in a way that's what actors go through. That's a journey we go through. My grandfather came through Ellis Island in 1907, the same year he came through, and so every night it feels like I'm telling his story in a little bit of a way. And it's some nights I have to remind myself I'm in the play and I can't get that emotional because it really hits me sometimes like an arrow in the heart.
Two men meeting at the moment of a journey. For a moment in the darkness we're the same.
And what of the people whose boundaries change, who marry so bravely and end up so safe? I will be journeying here, my love, as you go journeying on the sea.
We're two ships passing at a distance through the darkness, one going from America. Strangers sharing the beginnings of a journey. I salute you. God be with you.
I will miss you
in the darkness of the dawn. Journey on.
feels as relevant today as it was when it was originally done and originally with the book.
Yeah, I think even more so. I think particularly for my character, who is our family racist, his behavior in this piece, I think, is even more shocking than it was 10 years ago. You really are seeing people really taken aback by it, and that is largely due, I think, to the changes in the political climate, the social climate. In just 10 years, we've come a long way, and yet we haven't come far enough, and that's what hits home with people on this piece.
She's an amazing character. She's really got the fun part of the show. It's like, you know, there's the sadness and there's the drama, and you have to have levity in a show, especially something as profound as Ragtime needs to have a little moment of lightness. And Evelyn in her is that little moment of lightness in the show, and she comes on and you know that it's time to laugh and it's time to sit back and just enjoy what's going on. And I have to say, you know, it's always been my dream to stand center stage in a spotlight in a gorgeous costume and you know, deliver some lines in a pretty costume, you know? It's like a dream come true for a little girl who likes to play dress up.
You know, this role it's actually pretty complicated because she has, a good 6 lines and 3 songs that she has to come in and win the audience over. So, you know, there's like 4 shots, you know, to make it happen. So it's actually pretty complicated in that sense. But it's been a challenge for me personally. But you know, with Quentin is just a great partner on stage. I mean, we don't even really have to act; it's just there, and so that's been a big joy for me to do.
And working with your director choreographer, what that whole process was like for you that's brought you here tonight.
Oh yeah, you know, Marsha, she's a beautiful, beautiful person, a beautiful human being. She's really made the environment for us in rehearsals safe, and I was terrified the first few days, but, you know, really I was able to relax and just really enjoy it, and so she has been marvelous. I don't know if that's typical either, if every Broadway director is like that. We'll see, but she's definitely been amazing. And music director Jim, you know, really easy and calm to work with. So I think I've really lucked out in this situation.
I feel amazing. I'm flying. This is surreal. You know, as a matter of fact, I didn't want the night to really happen. I wanted it to wait and wait and wait, because the anticipation has just been building for me since we got here for rehearsal. And now that the night is here, you only get one Broadway debut, so I'm taking my time and doing everything slowly because I want the moment to last, you know. So yeah, I feel great.
Talk about this wonderful role that you get to do on Broadway.
The role of Colehouse Walker Jr. is very, very similar to my own life. We make a lot of parallels together. And so not only every single night I enjoy it because it feeds myself personally as well. That to me is the most important thing about the role, because we're so connected and we're so close. So I'm able to minister that way. I'm able to connect with the story and take that journey very truthfully. And it's amazing, amazing role.
Actually, no words can really describe it. This show is really resonating with people, and this company is so gifted and committed and generous and just exceptional in terms of the humanity that they bring to the stage and the humility that they bring to the stage. It's no one takes this experience for granted. We are grateful for it every single day. I couldn't be more thrilled to be a part of it. I just couldn't.
And talk about this role you get to play and the richness of the material.
Well, you just said it. The riches of the material. The riches of the material. I mean, the music that she gets to sing and this arc that this woman goes on. I mean, this is she's at the cusp of a new millennia, and she discovers what it means to be a woman in the next century for her. Viscerally, you know, and the experiences that happen, she doesn't just go, oh, well, you know, and then go away. I mean, she embraces everything that comes to her full heart. It has no idea what's going to happen next, and just jumps in. And you know, they don't write stuff like that left and right. I mean, it's just brilliant, and that I've been entrusted with that. Oh, I could not be happier. I could not be happier.
There are people out there unafraid to feel sorrow, unafraid of tomorrow, unafraid to be weak, unafraid to be strong. There was a time when you were the person in motion. I was your wife. It never occurred to want more. You were my sky, my moon, and my stars, and my own.